Today, let's get a little inspirational and motivational for the podcaster who hasn't started their podcast quite yet. Stick around. Hey, thanks for watching. My name is the Shan Man, radio broadcaster, podcaster, and podcast producer. And today I want to share with you, I don't know if it's an inspirational or motivational post or video that will keep you inspired to keep podcasting or maybe get you off the ground to podcasting. What I have been experiencing in the comments of this YouTube channel, and I love the comments I welcome the comments that you give me. But what I've been experiencing is that there are people who may find there's zero confidence in their abilities to start a podcast, and there's really nothing to worry about. But we'll get to that here in a second. So whether you're emailing me on email or you're reaching out to me on Facebook Messenger or here in the comments, I want to share with you a story that hopefully will keep you inspired and encouraged over time. Okay. And today marks, well, I guess not today. LinkedIn reminded me this week that I have been working for this radio station cluster for 18 years, 17 of them being here at 98 KUPD here in Phoenix. And I put a post out on my personal Facebook page just a couple of days ago that was really popular within my radio station friends, and not just friends, but people who listen to me. And it was this story that I was about to share with you. Now, before I shared that story, I wanted to share a picture here. And this is a picture of me back in 2005, and I was a part-time disc jockey here at KUPD. This is a completely different building, and I had just finished teaching for the day. I was a high school English teacher at one point in time, and I was also working part-time here at KUPD. So I want to share with you this story of my journey from that picture up until now, and hopefully allow you to rethink why you haven't started your podcast or whether you're burning out with your podcast. So kind of bear with me and let me read the story for you and share this story with someone that you feel may need the encouragement, or just put it in a playlist to remind you why you are podcasting, because it's going to be a long road, but it's so worth it in the end, okay? It was January of 2000, and I was in my senior year at Arizona State University working as a front desk assistant, still trying to figure out what I wanted to do with the rest of my life, with hopes to be on the radio. Now, the internet back then was really primitive, and I was lucky that radio stations around town were posting their open jobs to their websites. I'd print out the job postings and justify why I was an amazing person for an on-air shift pretty much anywhere, but with the intention of being just like the jocks here at KUPD. But my goal was to actually be on the air at KUPD. I also knew that if I wanted to be in radio, that I'd have to start somewhere at the bottom, but I didn't know where. In my case, my first radio gig was in the research department with our sister station, 93.3 KDKB. Back in those days, we would all sit in an undersized conference room from 5 p.m. until 9 p.m., dialing numbers from phone books, all while asking Phoenix, Arizona residents which radio station they liked listening to, which radio disc jockey they liked, which music that they liked. And I did this for 4 hours every single night as a part-time job. It was tedious, but it was really my first start in radio. And from that moment in 2000, my start at KDKB would be the pivot to moving over into 98 KUPD about a year later. I would start working as a promotions assistant and a part-time on-air personality, and I did that for about 6 years. While working part-time here at KUPD, I also went back to school to become a high school English teacher. I was driving 160 miles a day total for a full school year. I taught in a town called Globe, Arizona, which is about 80 miles away from Tempe, Arizona, and I was fulfilling a student teaching requirement that the University of Phoenix made me do. I remember the days of coming home only to fall on my bed and passing out for a few hours before getting back up to make an attempt at grading papers. Then, after I was done grading papers, I was trying to make attempts to fall back asleep at a decent hour to make the drive back to Globe from Tempe, Arizona. On the weekends, I would make my way back down here to the radio station, or back down to the Guadalupe radio station, and I would do a night shift from 7 p.m. until midnight, then turn around and do an afternoon shift on Sunday from 2 until 6. all while attempting to grade papers and complete my own personal assignments for school. I didn't even figure out or realize or know how I had time to even eat. After a year of driving to Globe, Arizona, and getting my teaching certificate, I landed a job at another high school called Higley High School, and I was the junior AP English teacher, and I even had a couple of sections of regular English that I taught. You got to keep in mind that I was still working as a part-time radio disc jockey here at KUPD, but I was really starting to burn out. In my mind, I had started to give up on the dream of ever being full-time in radio and was preparing an exit in 2006. It was around that time that a few changes here at KUPD and some of the management had decided to go ahead and leave and move to pursue their own careers in radio off in Las Vegas. During those 6 years as a part-time jock, I had applied at least 2 times as an overnight jock here at the radio station, but I missed the mark based on the choices of what management was looking for. It wasn't necessarily me, but it was what they were looking for. But it was still defeating to know that I wasn't picked for the one thing that I've always wanted to do since junior high school. I knew I was equally qualified just as much as those other people who were picked. By the time 2005 rolled around, KUPD would need a jock that worked at night, the current shift that I'm in right now. And I figured I'd apply one more time with zero intention of thinking that I would even get this position. My only thought was not wanting to regret not applying if I had decided to leave KUPD by the start of 2006. After putting my name in the ring and learning that I would be the one to actually get this job and be the night jock, I knew I'd have to put forth the best version of myself at that time. This would be a version of myself that most people wouldn't even think of doing. That version back in 2006 would go to work here at the radio station from 7 until midnight, 5 nights a week, and teach language and composition every weekday from 7 a.m. until 4 p.m. My professional colleagues thought I was completely nuts, and my students, they obviously knew that I was exhausted because I was. During my prep hours, I would nap under my desk, and my diet consisted of microwave quesadillas and Oreo cookies with milk for 5 full months. I would miss birthday parties and special family events. My relationship with my girlfriend eventually crumbled. But I did maintain one thing. I maintained a commit to finishing the school year and keep my job here in radio. By the time May of 2006 rolled around, I said farewell to teaching and welcomed the following years here at KUPD. Now, what's the point of this story? Since 2000, I clearly had my ups and downs when it came to life, love, health, wellness, finances, personal growth, and professional development. And even though I didn't realize it at the time, I had high aspirations and pushed myself to lengths that I didn't even realize were possible. But after 18 years, there are a few things that I've learned along the way. Strength and endurance are equally mental. Strength gives you the ability to pick up the heaviest weights to prove that you are capable of achieving that feat. Through daily practice, you're able to pick up more, knowing you've given your best shot every single day. Endurance gives you the ability to maintain your course in the most uncomfortable circumstances. It's the mental work that you do every day to tell yourself that you can go the extra quarter mile when you really know you can do the full mile. Look, I'm not a bodybuilder, nor am I an Olympic long-distance runner to know that strength and endurance are more than just physical. It's always been mental. And even though it's different for everyone, I've learned that strength and endurance is about finding a harmony within every aspect of your life. It's knowing where you meet your limits and growing the areas that are dormant. So no matter where I go from here and what I do with my career, I will always be reminded that January is the month I started in radio and began the race that would test my strength and endurance. So I want to ask you, how far are you willing to persevere and test your own strength, endurance, determination, just basically your pure grit? You think you don't have time to do anything that you want to do, but trust me, there's plenty of time. All it takes is just one small step in the right direction. And you've got to keep stepping until your small steps become strides. If you like this video, leave it a thumbs up and leave your comments down in the section below. If this has inspired you to get started with a podcast and learn about the technical aspects of starting a podcast, there's a video over here on the left-hand side with a basic podcasting setup that I have recorded just for you. And I also have a downloadable guide on my website, a quick start guide that you can download, which the link is down in the description below, and it will probably fly out here on top of the screen. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you're inspired and keep podcasting. See you next time.